Hi and welcome to my channel The Stitchy Wife. I'm Elisabeth and I am here in my garage slash cutting room where I am going to cut some basic tank patterns and some, I don't know what else. Stick around and you will see what we will make of this day. Hi everyone. First of all, thank you and welcome back to all of you that have been here before and supported me all the way and give me such amazing encouragement as you have. I don't know what I have done to deserve all of you. And to those of you that are new here, very welcome. And if you haven't subscribed already, please think about it and do so, because there will be a lot easier to get this channel out there. And I hope you like what you see, and I hope you feel as welcome as I want you to feel. That sounded strange, but I hope you get what I mean. Welcome. Yeah, you're out in the garage. Peter has so wonderfully left a big chunk of this garage to me. His dream when he built his house was to have a garage where he could do a lot of the hobbies he is doing regarding the carpentry and so on, and instead he has left it all to me. So it's a big mess at the moment. As you can see behind me, there is a walking band, jogging, is it called that? What are you calling it? Treadmill in English. And there is our freezer, and yeah, it's just a big mess. But as those of you that have been here before know, he is building an outbuilding, quite a big one, that is going to be our storage mainly. So then during this summer we hopefully will get this to work, and I will try and turn you around a bit so you can see. You see, this is my big cutting table. It is supposed to be as big as the biggest quilt, because I like doing that too. I haven't done it for a while since I haven't had the energy, but I would love to do some of that in the summer too, once this is all cleared up. And the plan is to have a projector in the ceiling, so I can use this table for that too. Well, now you've seen a little bit of it. As I said, I'm sorry for the mess, but I thought I would take you out here and share with you while I'm cutting the Blomma tank, because that is one of the patterns I'm planning on sewing today. I don't know what else, because I am so tempted by... I found yesterday a bag where I put a pre-cut, where I batch cut, and I think it was this autumn actually, cut a constance, not jumpsuit, overall. Is that the correct name for it? And I would love to try and sew that, because I saw Faith, an amazing person I met through YouTube. She published on Instagram, and I will check with her if I can publish that picture here. She looked lovely in her newly... I don't think they are newly made. I think she just hadn't shown them on Instagram before. But she looked so beautiful in her overalls that she made from, let me see what pattern company that was, because she made me really tempted to go buy that pattern. But then I saw I have the Constance from Fibre, and I will try that one first and see how that works out. But what I liked with her patterns was that it was quite narrow overall, not the big, huge, oversized one, because I like mine to be quite narrow, because I will look very big otherwise, since I'm that tall and so on. I think I would look very big anyway. So we will see. I don't think I can stick to the module plan for today. I think I need some kind of extra today. I don't know why. It's raining outside and I'm tired, and yeah, you know, sometimes you just feel like it. But I wanted to make the Blomma tank because I'm desperately in need of more Blomma tanks, and I have decided to lengthen this one as I've done a couple before. No, I haven't lengthened the Blomma tank. I've lengthened the summer basic tank from Love Notions. But this time I will try and make the same alteration to the Blomma tank, and I thought I would take you along with me. Especially since I promised someone around Christmas, I think, or maybe January, February or something. No, I didn't film then. I don't know when. Sorry. Yeah, it was around So Frugal, of course. It was then I sewed the Blomma tank. How I sew the binding, and I thought I would take you along with me and see if I can share that here. So let's see how far we will get today, and let's start cutting. I will speed this up because it's not much fun looking at, but I thought if you are keeping me company in my sewing room and cutting space, I thought maybe I can keep you company. And then one of those episodes where you speed the cutting up part quite a bit isn't that bad to have, because it's give you a bit of a, just company. Hope you enjoy. I will get back to you once I have put the pattern together, because my PDF pattern is gone. I don't know where it is, so I have to put it together again, but it is only 15 pages, so it will be a fast one. But I will take you along on that too. So stay put and see you in a bit. I just wanted to show you one thing on this pattern that I really like. She has included a stretch guide, so you can actually, let's see if I can zoom this in. And if I haven't said it, it is a free pattern, this, so don't forget to go and check it out on her webpage. I will link it down below, of course. Here you can see, there we have 10%, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 and 100% stretch. And you take your fabric, and she is writing here, hold your fabric up to this grey rectangle, gently stretch it and see at what percentage you end up at. This is the percentage of stretch your fabric is. Here we have my piece, and you shouldn't start in the end, because that could be a bit different depending on your... I take a piece of fabric in the middle, I fold it, as you can see here, fold it like this, take my thumb here and take the other here, and then I try and I put one thumb there at the beginning, and now I have absolutely no stretch of it, and I hold tight here, this thumb, and then I start to stretch. And here, I don't know if you can see it, I don't know how much I can zoom later when I'm editing, but I end up at 60%. Then it is, I could probably stretch a little bit more, but I don't want to overstretch the fabric, because this is a good, you see, I could, if I really tug, I get up to 70%, but I think it's more at 60. That is a reasonable percentage on this cotton lycra that I've gotten from Rainbow Fabrics Kilburn. And I thought I would use this as a kind of a toile. I have tried this before, so I know that it is working, but I want to add length to it. And the hem band, as I did on my other one that I used, the Love Notion pattern, I want to try that on with a Blomma tank too, and we'll see how that works. I will see how much I added to the other tank, and I will show you what kind of measurements I'm using and how I make it. Let's start cutting the Blomma tank. I will actually use some white ribbing as binding because it's easier to show off when I'm showing how I'm sewing it. So I hope that will make it a bit easier for you. Let's start cutting. See these curly things. I don't know what it's called in English. Please help me. But I will try and iron this with starch and see if that is working. Because it sometimes works and it sometimes don't. But I will share it with you and show what I'm doing. Another wonderful thing I bought at Lidl here in Sweden is this. It's an ironing mat. You can see I have burned some interfacing here, but it doesn't matter. I used that a lot out here, so I don't need to take my ironing board out. Just put it on the table, and here we go. Oh, there the pattern went. Let me see if we can make this work. I have an iron out here, an extra iron. It isn't that good, but it is working. And that is the most important thing. Then I will try the starch. I will show you. We have them on spray bottles here in Sweden, and I don't know if you have any DIY starch, because I would love to know if you have. But here you can see it's from the 50s, and I think it has looked like this ever since. If you see that picture, because there it is, the wife or the maid even starching their shirt and even their tablecloths. Yeah, and towels. That was another day. Well, I think that is, the picture is from the 50s or 60s, but I think it's kind of fun. But let's try it and see. Here we have a very rolly, very technical term, rolly up hem. And I think you're just supposed to spread it out and now iron on it. Let's see. Getting a bit better, but do you have any other ideas for this? Yeah, it is working actually. Maybe I need some more starch now that it is. Yeah. Huh. I actually surprised myself. And my wonderful husband is always telling me, don't work with a lot of things around you, and as I said before, it is a complete mess out here. So I'm sorry if you have to look at this, but I will try and take you along later on in the summer when we are sorting all this out. I am hoping I will be fit for helping Peter, because I think it is terrible if he had to do it himself. But we'll see. Anyhow, I will share it with you. Let's spray some more. I don't know if it's coming near the end or what is happening, because it is a very slow. Maybe I can spray the arm's eye and see if that stiffens it up too. That was a good idea actually, because I think this will be quite tricky to sew the lining on. I know that, not the lining, the binding on. Let's see. Let's start off. Here we have the back piece. I will see how long the side seam on this pattern piece is that I know is working. Let's compare the side seams. And I will add about 5 inches to the Blomma tank. We'll see if that is too much, but I can always take away. It's harder to lengthen. And I need to do a completely new hemband, and I don't like that. There, because she says here mark center front with a pin or a pen. I snip it, and I do the same in the bottom. Having the binding armband, 2 pieces in cuff, in white rib knit I mean, and we have 1 neckband in white rib knit, and we have a front and a back. There we have it. And we have my project bag. I always, even if I'm going to go straight into the sewing room and sew it, I always put it in like this, because you never know what happens between here and the sewing room. Believe me, a lot of things can be happening. And I put this paper where all the info is as a front page. And then once it's finished, I put it in my binder where I have all my finished projects, and I have a binder for unfinished projects. So just have to fold this one up and let's start sewing. See you in the sewing room. I am back in the sewing room and preparing for my Blomma tank. And I just wanted to show you that I am going to try and use the Maraflex thread. No, not the Maraflex. The Maraflex from Gutermann. And I'm using it both as a top thread and in my bobbin. So no difference there. Not at all as when you are doing, not ruching, what are you calling it? When you are doing, I will insert it down here. When you only have this in the bobbin. And when you're sewing with different thicker thread, you're not using it as a bobbin thread. This time, if you're using this new stretch thread from either Gutermann or Mettler, always use it both in the top and bobbin thread. I promise you it will be a mess otherwise. I tried that one too by mistake. But in the top and in the bobbin. And you wind it as usual on your bobbin winder, and it is working great. Now that one is threaded, and I will be using white on my serger since I don't have coral or anything like it. So I think it will work. I don't think it will show that much. But let's start off. I will get the instructions so I make it the right way now that I'm going to show you. Because otherwise, a lot of the times I just wing it and yeah, start reading it in the middle, and it's a little hit and miss. Hang on a minute. I actually have one more question for you before we start this sewing this Blomma tank. What do you prefer? Do you like to see the angle from the sewing machine? I think I will need to do it today because the binding is quite different than I have done it before, but otherwise when doing sew-alongs and so on, do you prefer seeing the actual sewing or do you think it's unnecessary? I'm a little bit, yeah, I'm divided. I sometimes like it and I sometimes don't mind, and I sometimes like it, and I sometimes think I don't watch it, I just fast forward it. But is it of any use to you? Let me know. What are your thoughts? Because I'm really planning on doing specifically in June, if I have the energy and the strength. I would love to do some sew-alongs with the Hey June handmade pattern, since it is June and her pattern name is Hey June. So what do you think? Do you think it is valuable to do it like that, so you actually see the sewing part of it, me sewing it at the sewing machine? And because then I will try and fix that. Let me know. We are supposed to start to sew the side seams and the shoulder seams and the side seams. So let's start there, and I will share it with you once I've done that. Let's see, now both of the side seams are made and the shoulder seams are sewn. Let's start with the binding. I won't add the hemband until the end because I will measure how much stretch and how this fabric works, how long it will actually be on me before I cut anything off, or if I need to add an even longer hemband in worst case scenario. But I don't think so, because I think I've added quite a lot extra. But that is the final step. But let's start the binding. I will see what she is telling us to do. She is telling us to start with the neck binding. So let's start off with that. I think I will start it all with connecting the binding. Let me show you here. We have these 3 pieces of binding. There is 2 shorter ones for the sleeve or the arm side, and one a little bit, very little longer. It's not much longer at all, but it is 1 inch or something like that. You fold it in half and you sew the top together. You fold it right sides together and sew the short ends together, so it's creating a circle. That is where you start, and I will do that with all 3 of the binding pieces. Then I will take you along to the sewing machine. Now let's get to the exciting part, the arm and the sleeve arm binding. No, the arm side binding and the neckline. What I've done is, and that is not in the pattern, but after making some of these Blomma tanks, here we go again with pre-pressing. I actually pre-pressed what is supposed to be pressed later on, and I'm having a hard time explaining this. Let me see if you can see. I have pre-pressed, I've measured 2 centimeters in on the binding piece, and then I marked that piece marked 2 centimeters in, folded it over so that the other edge was meeting that 2 centimeters point. And I will share with you later and show you later why I've done this. That is just something I do to make it easier later on. Because, as I said yesterday, pre-pressing is everything for me. It is helping me so much and is making everything go so much faster. And I squared this one. That is measured a quarter of the complete circumference. And yeah, I just basically did it like this. I folded it, unfolded it once again and marked each corner. Now we're gonna measure the neckline. I think I will tilt you down and show you on a flat surface because it is easier than sitting here holding the piece up. And here we have the Blomma tank sewn together. Side seams are sewn and the shoulder seams are sewn. What we are now supposed to do is to quarter this neckline, and what you do then is you put the shoulder seams together like this. You measure in the top there, that is the neck, back in the neck and in front. I usually do it like this. I fold the side seams together all the way and shake a bit. You will see what I'm doing once so I fold the whole piece in half. And then here we have the underarm, the seam under the arm. They're lying together. Then we have the shoulder seams, wrong sides together. That means that we now have, this is the neckline shown in half. This is the back of the neck. Here we have the shoulder seams and here we have the front. You know that this is half point, so there you will put a mark in. Then you often think that the shoulder seam is in the middle, but it isn't, since your neckline in the front. Is that how you say it? This front piece is deeper. That will not be in the middle. That way the shoulder seam will not be in the middle. So you have to fold this once again, like this. Shoulder the middle point in front with the middle point in back. It's a bit, I'm not that good in explaining in English. I'm so sorry. I hope you get it. Here we have the neckline all folded in 4 in quarters with back and front points together. And here you make a mark. Let me unfold it all so you can see where the marks have been. I'm sorry if I can't explain it that well. Here we have the front, is a mark in the middle, a mark in the back, middle back, and here, let me see, here we have, that is a small mark. That is a quarter, and that is a quarter from front and back. This is the middle point between the front and back, that is, if you hold it like this. I hope you get it. Marking this makes it a lot easier when we are going to do the neck binding, because what we are going to do now is take the neck binding piece that we have sewn together and pre-pressed, as I just talked about. I'm going to unfold the pre-pressed line and make sure that I sew where we have most fabric, as far away from the pre-press line as possible, so to speak. I know that I want this in the back, my seam. My battery died. I'm sorry. I hope you can hear and see as well in this camera. It is a old digital camera. That is, yeah, we'll see how it will work. Where were we? Yeah, we're gonna take this binding piece and we're gonna put this in the neck, right sides together, me see how I will do that. I think I will do it like this. There you can see. Here we have 1 point. And you're gonna meet every quarter mark. You start off by pinning the back part. Middle point. Then you're going to connect the middle point in front where you have marked both ways. And you do the same thing every quarter. And here we have the one side quarter. And the other side quarter. And now it's going to look something like this. Here we have the tank top, and the binding is, you see, it's folded around, but it's one layer. If you're going to do the traditional way of doing a neckband, you sew it together with two. You sew it together folded like that. That is not going to happen this time. So you have one layer, right sides together with the binding against the tank top. And let's start sewing. We'll see if I can, yeah, I can stretch that out enough. I will take along to the sewing machine so you can see what seam allowance and what I'm using, because now is where the interesting part is beginning. I'm trying to find, this piece is a 1/4 inch, the little thing that is, this means that it is 1 inch from that to that. I like to have always have, if possible, to use the edge of my presser foot as a guide. So I always put it down like that, checking that I have both my fabrics correct. Here we have it, they are going to be side by side. And then I measure where my needle will end up when I'm having a 1/4 inch of seam allowance. Now this is a guideline, as I just said, so it isn't that important that this is exactly correct. It's just to make the fabric lay flat. Later on I will share with you what I'm meaning. But I will move my needle instead. Now you can see it is almost exactly where this line is. Yeah, that will work out great. And then we will sew from pin to pin. That is how I normally sew, and you stretch the binding piece, not your top. So make sure to stretch this time the under fabric. You see, I managed to stretch it, so it was no problem. And I choose to put I will share that later. You can't see that now. Here you can see I have it almost straight. Now it is laying straight. And now I'm just pulling very slightly behind to make it move. And I'm using a 3.0 stitch length. We are now going to continue and sew the exact same seam, but now we're going to follow this seam. That is the correct word. You see how much it stretches thanks to the Maraflex thread. I just had to show you that I'm so in love with this thread. We are now going to do the correct seam allowance, and that is 2 centimeters. And now I need my measuring tape because there isn't centimeters on the gauge. So we are actually going to sew as far in as this. That is why you need that as, not as a guideline, but you need it to hold down the fabric. I tried to skip this first part that we sewed right now, and it did not work. It got so wavy, and so, yeah, it didn't work at all. It's difficult as is, but yeah, we will see where we will end up. I will put a needle in here, a pin in here. There is 2 centimeters, I'll double check, yeah. And then I will get my, just to see where my presser foot is best situated. Okay, I can either go by that line, you see here. It is quite good because it is, yeah, I think I will do that. You see, if I use that as a guideline and I want the seam to end up where the pin is, I have to put this back, the needle back in the mid position. Now let's start sewing. And now I'm using 3.0 as a stitch length again, because you see it is quite a good length. I'm sorry if it's bad quality, but I hope you get what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. Now you need to make sure that you straighten the bottom fabric, sorry for moving, which is the binding, because otherwise it's going to be difficult. Absolutely no idea if you're seeing me now, because I'm doing it by, I don't know what you're calling it. I don't have a viewfinder. I'm just looking in the middle of the camera and hoping that you will get this. Now you can see we have gone all around with the 2 stitches, 2 line-on stitches, 1 1/4 inch and 1 2 centimeters in. What you are now supposed to do, let me turn you over, I can't sit like this, I'm sorry, I have to do it on the ironing board, I'm sorry for this. This is the right side, and this is the 2 lines that we have been sewing, and you can see it is getting a bit bulky once you're not pulling it and keeping it taut, but it will be quite alright once we're done with it, or finish it. But what you're supposed to do now is to actually try and straighten it out with the iron. It is a bit trickier while I can't see what I am doing in the viewfinder. I'm so used to that now. Here you can see a very good image of, you need to pull it taut, as you can see here. That is a great way of pressing it, actually. I'm using just no cord, and I can press so that it's getting temporary steam, just not steam all the time. Here, it's looking great. I will cut as close as I possibly can get to that line of stitching. Now you can see it is matching quite exactly the 2 centimeter line that we pre-folded, and I really think it helps having that pre-pressed before. Now we're going to press this this is the back side, so I'm actually gonna follow that line. I think I must have sewn a bit. I haven't been that accurate as I thought with the presser foot. I was a bit off, but since this is the wrong side, it doesn't matter that much to me. I think I'm going to put a few more pins in. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm folding it over. I'm pressing this big seam and seam allowance into the binding and folding the binding over. Simple as that. And it is still making it look so professional, I think. I don't know, I was so surprised when I saw the frugal top, the So Frugal. So that is why I really fell in love with this pattern. Let me see here. Here is a quite good fold. You just have to feel a bit. Here you can see it is a bit more tricky because it is on the shoulder and it feels like it's more fabric. It isn't, but it feels like it because it's more bulky there. It's more turns. I think I have pinned the neckline and I'm gonna sew. You know what? You're gonna have to wait because I'm gonna do the sleeve binding without the camera first, and then I'm going to top stitch all of it together. So I will get back to you once I've done the sleeve binding and you can see how that looks. What I'm going to do there is start off by quartering these, both the sleeve openings and the bindings, and then I'm going to pin them, so then with a 1/4 inch seam allowance and then with 2 centimeter seam allowance, and then go back to doing this, and then we're gonna top stitch all. I am sewing this neck binding right sides together, a right side up, I mean. Here is the right side, and this is already sewn. The only thing that needs to be catched or caught in a seam is this. So you have to make sure that you, once you pinned it, like we did before, you don't move it too much while you're putting it under the presser foot and so on. And I don't know how well you can see it. I'm so sorry that the other camera isn't working. Here is my twin needle, and it is going to end up like that. Is somewhere around that is my outer line of. You can see I've already done it. I'm not sure if you... The lighting is so bright when it's white. Can you see? Here is the stitching. I stitched that before since I didn't want it, all the pins to be in the way. But this, then it's just to sew around it. The last thing to do now is to try it on and see how long it is. So hang on a minute. Okay, I got my old camera, my real camera back. Look how great this is working with my Oila shirt. So happy. Well, this was quite not that stretchy jersey as I thought, but it is wonderful to wear. It is almost a compression jersey. and I will show it all to you. See here, it is a bit more. You see, everything is showing, and as I said, I know I'm not having that much, but it is really showing off. And I want this hemband to be a nice finish, so I'm definitely gonna take this. I want the top to end there with this on, so I'm gonna put it once I take it off and put it on top. Can you see what I mean? This is what I'm gonna attach to the bottom and hem it like that. I will share it with you once I'm out of this, but I think this will work out great actually. This is to have it a bit looser, and then the white binding is working out fine. Then you just button up one, maybe. Yeah, I have my ivy there, so I won't bug with that too much. But that is a good length, I think. Yeah. I'm really liking it. This too. Even if it is a very bright color and I'm not quite used to it yet. But thanks for helping me do it. Well, I will show you how I do the hemband and then we're finished. And to start off, I will measure the width of the hemband and cut it off and add the actual hemband on. When I'm measuring things like this, I always like to put it side seams together. Now I'm just gonna see how wide the hemband was, because that is how much length I actually want to take off this, because it was stretchy on that way, but maybe not that. Or maybe it's just that it's thicker cotton jersey. I really like the feel of it. It's just that I'm not used to having so revealing clothes. And I know one or two washes it's gonna be, yeah. No, it's gonna be, of course, it's gonna be quartered. I almost thought, what am I? There, you can see it isn't much wider. The bottom piece isn't much wider than the hemband itself, so it's not gonna shrink up the top too much, so to speak. I can't find the words right now. Sorry, but now it was the length we were talking about, and here we have it. There is where I'm going to cut it off. I'm actually not going to do it the rounded version as it was looking at the pattern, not using hemband. It wouldn't be that effectful anyway, so I'm going to skip that and just cut a straight line. And we take that away and use for something else. Now we see, here we have the hemband piece. What I'm Now we have this hemband, and we're just going to attach it to the the top. I'm going to iron it, and I'm going to iron it in quarters like this. I mean, it isn't exact science, just so you have a hunch. Because I quarter this one. Now, to get it the right way, since this is 2 right sides, you have to turn the top right side out. And I choose to have this seam in one of the ends. So just put it like this, the raw end, the raw fabric should be connecting, so to speak. That is the middle of this. As I said, it isn't exact science. And I hope all of you that are so used to doing this, just skipping it, because I just want to share it if there is anyone out there who hasn't done this. And I'm going to train at my tutorials, because I think it's hard. Now you can see, even here, this means that you can put one of the overlock seams. You can put the overlock seam from the top one way, and the 4 pieces of raw fabric on the other. You choose where you put your overlocker seam allowance. You put that the other way than that, because that is no seam at all in there. Try it. I know I haven't explained it well. I'm so sorry for that. And as I said, I will work on my tutorials and how to share things. And please, constructive criticism is always, always very welcome. Don't be too harsh on me, please. Because I really like to teach. I'm just not that, I haven't found my way of doing it yet. As Mum always said. She said that many times. You have to find your way to teach, because it isn't as easy as it looks. But it is fantastic once it works. This hemband I will overlock in the round. Just sew it together in the close, so to speak. And close it up. And then we will have a finished top. Hang on a minute and I will be right back. It is finished and I am loving this too. It's going to be a great staple together with my oiler shirt and just some lighter fabric denim. I think I'm going to use, I don't know what colors to have with this. I will try it all tomorrow because it's getting late and I need to take my medicines and I need to prepare for tomorrow because the nurse is coming early tomorrow morning. But I just wanted to show you the finished thing. And I'm sorry, I don't have the energy to pull it over my head and try it on again. I will probably wear it tomorrow though, so you can see it. Otherwise, I will definitely do a makes video this month because I'm starting to get to a module. This oiler shirt, this, and if I make 2 more tops, and I think I made a bottom in the first part of this month, and I have 1 top and 1 bottom left, and that shouldn't be a problem since I have a few skirts cut out. But we'll see about it tomorrow. I will say goodnight to you now and hope that even though I know it's been quite a messy tutorial, I hope you could get something good out of it, and I hope you can help me to be better and we can try this together and do this journey together with teaching and learning each other and just hang out together in the sewing room because I love having you here. Take care and have a wonderful evening and love each other and love yourself. Bye for now.